Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It's Thursday. Alan Ruff, Gordon Smith and East Fife manager Darren Young with us on the panel today to talk football. And of course, Darren's association with Aberdeen from all those years ago will set us up nicely with a League Cup final in mind. All the memories undoubtedly will come flooding back of cups that you've been involved in against Celtic, which didn't quite go according to plan. Can Aberdeen upset the Apple Cap?
Yeah, of course. If they get the game confident, I'm sure they will. And if they can keep them quiet, what you'll know what to do is go in and lose an early goal, and it kind of puts everything back to the back burner. But no, if you go in there with full of confidence and see where it takes you, you never know. Anything can happen in the day, sending off or penalty, anything like that.
Two sendings off.
Or Robbie Winters, you could lose your goalkeeper and your outfield player needs to win goals. But I think they've sorted that out these days. But no, it's one of the games. Anything can happen on the day. Celtic are in a good run of form. Aberdeen have started to pick up, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Here's what else we'll be talking about. Yeah, lots to cram into the programme. Of course, it's back to domestic football as well. We will touch on the international football from midweek as well. But Brendan Rodgers has been speaking today ahead of Celtic's game against Hamilton Accies. There's all sorts of speculation surrounding his captain, Scott Brown. We've had Australian clubs reportedly interested in him, American clubs as well. And Brendan Rodgers reckons the Celtic captain's been at Parkhead that long that he deserves the respect and time to decide his own future.
I think, as I said before, I think we just, it's not probably something you'll probably want to know quickly, but for me, I think it's just time. Just let that run. I think if anyone has deserved a time to make a decision, it's Scott. He's really happy here. He loves it here, and there'll be an agreement between him and the club in relation to that. But I think he has absolutely every right to, if he has options of this last period of his career to look at, then he needs probably the time to look at that. But that shouldn't be taken to any Celtic supporters that he doesn't want to be here because he loves it here. He's been absolutely top class for me for 2.5 seasons, and we want him to stay, of course. But as a guy at this stage of his career, like all players, they will always have to look at it for them and now for the family as well.
Is this a case of no smoke without fire, Ruffy? This is gathering pace, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. But I mean, Scott Brown's the only one that can answer this one, what he wants to do. Obviously he's got a lot to think about. We all know in the last year or two he's been picking up a lot of injuries, more than usual. He elected to come out of the Scotland team because of it. So he'll know what his body's saying to him. Does he want to keep playing or does he want a new challenge? But it'd be a big loss to Celtic if he moves.
Yeah, well, you talk about putting your body through the mill. I think he's 33. Yep. Darren, you more than anyone know what it's all about. You were trying to play till you're 40. You've had the odd game into your 40th year, but at the top level. I remember Paul Hartley saying something, which again I'll get Gordon's thoughts on too, is there were moments in a game where he just felt as if he was a yard off it, or somebody was getting a nick on the ball that he would never have got a nick on, and he thought, I can't keep going at this level. Yeah,
you get that way, and I'm sure these guys will be able to tell you the same, probably not yourself because you never played at a high level. But
yeah, if you could just scalp me with this, by the way.
No, but you get that way, and it's sometimes you're getting up in the morning. You feel like you're getting up in the mornings, get out of your bed. But when you're playing in the games, there is that wee bit. You're trying everything. Your head and your mind, your thingy wants to get you, but your body can't get you there quick enough. And it's just one of the realisations. You try everything to make sure you're right. I was doing Bikram yoga and things like that, but it just gets to a point where you need to accept it and hold your hand up.
Yeah, which I'm not quite sure if Bikram yoga allows you, Gordon, to bring the ball down in your chest and hit a 40-yard diagonal without pulling a hamstring, but nevertheless.
I think it is a case it absolutely is the case that we'd always still be playing if it wasn't for the physicality of it. Because you don't become a worse player, you don't stop being good. It's because of the physicality you have to give it up. You just can't do what you did before. There comes a stage when, and it's a hard one to decide when you actually think, am I at the stage now where this is beginning to get worse? Am I going to deteriorate and look bad? And then maybe it's the time to retire. Then when you just think, rather than embarrass myself, step back and say, right, I'm giving it up.
But it's a strange one though, because I'm looking at this situation. It's amazing over a month how people's lives can be transformed, and suddenly you can start to look and think, I mean, I don't know, any Celtic fan a month ago would think Scott Brown's possibly going to be leaving, possibly contemplating Australia or America, if indeed there's any substance to it. But a month ago, people were talking about, well, Ryan Christie's going to have to leave Celtic. There's nothing open for him there. And then
I think that is a turning point.
This is incredible.
I think what happened was, two things happened. Scott Brown is still as good a player as he was, and he's been playing. He's just got an injury, obviously. But what happened was, all of a sudden, Ryan Christie came in, and Celtic scored a barload of goals during that spell, and he made the international team. And a lot of people are thinking, well, is it the time to change the system and all that? Because Scott Brown's a sitting player and Sham has been out too, sort of thing. But I still think they've got a role to play. I mean, although you can look at some games and say, oh, the managed without Scott Brown, I think he's still a key player for Celtic in that respect.
Yeah, I think he's been a wonderful player for Celtic. I think he's evolved into a player that has a specific role, rather than some people thinking he was, this creative midfielder earlier on in his career. He's a key player for them, Ruffy. I'm not so sure if this is the swan song.
No, I think Brendan Rodgers has given him a position, to play. It's definitely not as mobile as what he was. I think there was 2 or 3 years ago he was playing every part in the Celtic team because he was the main man. But there are now young players coming in there with a lot of energy, and why not have them playing round about him? You look at McGregor, you look at Christie, he can play that sitting role and let them do all the running for him.
Do you know a key aspect of it, and Dan will know this very well too, that what you need sometimes in a team is a leader type as well, because certain games that without that leadership, the whole thing falls flat. I think Rangers lack that to a degree. Do you know that? And I think that's what Scott Brown also brings to it, and a leader is a major aspect, isn't it?
He's a big thing in the dressing room as well. You can see in the dressing room he's got a big influence there, but I think on the park as well, he'll be talking to players and speaking to them through it, and he'll be helping the likes of Christie and McGregor, and they'll be learning from him. So to take that away, it's the same at our level as well. We've got 1 or 2 guys that if you lose them in the team, then you can kind of they go into their shell a wee bit. So it's the same at all levels.
Yeah, I think it's a great point you make, Gordon, and specifically for December 29th, because I think Celtic going to Ibrox needs Scott Brown to actually almost give them that aura of, you haven't been able to, take the title, you haven't been able to beat us apart from a semi-final. I think that will be the psychological thing to see these Celtic fans are saying, and the players.
Totally, I think it will be the key games, because I think, as I say, I've seen it happen so often, and quite interestingly, years ago, meeting with people from Prozone, and I actually asked these people to do all the stats. What's Puyol's stat that gets Puyol in that Barcelona team, right? And the guy said, that's a good question, know what it is? To see the last 12 defeats they had, Puyol wasn't playing 11 of them, right? That was the stat. So what that meant was, regardless of what you think of his ability, when he's on that field, they're a different team.
Yeah, I'm
and
glad
he's the guy that made them play.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because Ruffy doesn't rate him. He doesn't rate a multiple Champions League winner. He thought he was a
A lot of people don't rate him, but there's the stat.
He thought he was a dud.
They're my 2 favourite players, him and David Luiz. Home scares the both of them. They might be in the team, but if there's a calamity going to happen, it's David Luiz or it's Puyol.
Yeah, okay, and there's a few curious looks towards Ruffy. Yeah, that's got us all arguing. As far as other news, and again it concerns Brendan Rodgers was asked today if he would consider becoming an international manager, and I wonder why.
No, I want to manage at international level at some point in my career. I hope to be coaching another 20 odd years, so there's plenty of time. For me it can be anywhere, any country, but I'm happy in Scotland for now.
Yeah, I'm happy in Scotland for now, says Brendan Ruffy. I mean, I could say something controversial here, but I'll let time play it out. I don't think he's ready to go into international management.
No, I think he still fancies a shot at England. I think he's still got something to prove down there. He did a wee bit at Liverpool, obviously nearly getting there. So I think eventually he'll go down there. I think international football, yeah, as he said, maybe 15, 20 years' time, that's when I think you should be going into international management.
Yeah, Mick McCarthy, the favourite for the Republic of Ireland job. Neil Lennon's been quoted. It's an interesting one, who they go for. Going back to Mick McCarthy would be a surprise.
He was in before. He had problems as well, mainly with Roy Keane, so that just as well maybe Roy Keane's been sacked as the assistant manager. Yeah. I don't think they'd be working together.
I don't think that would have been in the contract.
Knowing both guys, I was amazed that never turned into a fight, to be honest with you, the two of them. Maybe it did, I don't know. But Mick McCarthy has done very well in football. But Neil Lennon, I would think, obviously as a candidate on the basis of how well he's done in management, because he's very good at club level. He's been very successful. He gets teams playing in the right sort of manner. So I'm sure he will be a candidate.
Yep, OK. Let's touch on Scotland. Craig Levein, the Hearts boss, has been talking about Scotland as well, Darren, saying that it's time that, they started to back Alex McLeish. I think Craig Levein obviously asked the question about the criticism that the Scotland manager takes, and boy, he knows it more than most. Yeah,
I mean, I think his remit was to qualify from the section, and he's done that, and he's still getting grief, which is, you get people saying that, he's done it with this squad or that squad, and these players have dug him out a hole, and at the end of the day, he's went in and he's picked the players. It's the same as the first defeat they had. He picked the players and he gets stick for the defeat, and then he gets stick winning the win. But no, overall, it was two great results, and he's qualified and basically got ourselves to the playoffs anyway. So worst case scenario, they've obviously still got a few more games depending on the section. I don't know when that's drawn for the actual challenge.
Well, Ruffy will tell you he's been studying it non-stop. Tell Darren when the draw is for it, Ruffy.
2nd of December.
There you are. He's totally clued up with it. So glad we put that graphic together for you, Ruffy.
So we'll see obviously then when the draw is made. But again, it's good to have that sort of buffer that your worst case scenario you're playing. Is it Finland? Is that right?
Yeah.
You get Finland to play. So
I just have to ask you though, Ruffy. I'm looking at, Alex McLeish saying he wasn't contemplating in any way, resigning, quitting or anything. I don't think any manager contemplates that now. I don't see why you should. You've paid a contract. If it doesn't work out, fine. You've got the contract. Pay them the money. Let them go. I think if Alex hadn't have, if the ball goes in and it's 3 each and the guy scores 2 minutes from time for Israel, I don't think Alex would need to have worried about quitting, because I think 1,000,001 people have been calling for his head.
No, the remit was to qualify for the finals, and the real competition is the draw. Yeah. This Nations Cup was just a wee side issue to give you a better chance to get in. So he should have been judged on, the group whenever it comes out, and then whatever happens in the group, and then that. But for me, what it came out with, I thought Alec was particularly honest, and the guys will hopefully agree with me. They're all human. Bad publicity gets to you, and you could see that way, Alec. It was the personal attack that some people were putting on him does affect you in some of the decisions that you make. So it was good that he got that result, because obviously these kind of people will now have to back off and wait until another chance, because there are too many people just now with agendas out there, and they're making it particularly hard for the manager to do his job.
Totally. I think a lot of them should be embarrassed about the way they were treating it and the way they were having a go, Alec, and actually, almost like saying, he shouldn't be in the job. And although Scotland are still in the competition, but I'm certain there will still be people out there disappointed that he got these results.
Well, some people here didn't want him to actually become the manager.
That's right. A lot of people were like that, because two things. They thought, he's walked away from a job before, and he's not the main candidate. All that thing. There was people were having a go right from the very start. So I was delighted with him, because, as I say, they were considering the problems he had with his team, players, who was available, and all that sort of thing. It was two good, I think, performances and results especially. Yeah. Results are the most important thing. First and foremost, at that level, you're looking for a result first, and then you judge the performance, don't you?
Yeah. Well, listen, you're preaching to the converted over this end. It's very difficult for Ruffy to buy into that at the moment, because they're playing great football and can't get a win.
Yeah. I know.
Incidentally, I don't know if quite a few people will mention it, obviously, in social media, because they follow the programme religiously, but Darren and Gordon don't look any different, because, quite simply, you know, the month out there is November. Ruffy, you look unbelievably ready. You okay?
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder what I'm sitting under here. That was a week more every time I come in here, you know, but maybe it's just because I've been out in the cold.
Yeah, I was
thinking you've been in Mallorca.
I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, he's getting through maybe you're getting through that point. You get through that body.
I certainly wasn't like this when I come in.
I started to see you going redder and redder, and I thought...
Before I think I'm under a heater here.
That could be embarrassment, though.
Yeah, there's definitely embarrassment. It's only a matter of time before we Ruffy out, unless this will get a goal. Anyway, we're not going to talk about Jags too much, Ruffy. Interestingly enough, Kieran Tierney was talking today about the Scotland situation. Somebody obviously asked him the question about him pulling out, and of course the overall results.
The full story was, obviously, I've played a lot of games this season. I went to Scotland training, tried my best, but the first few days we trained it was a bit tight still, and I felt something. So, but for me, I was like, I'm fine, I'll carry on. But they said that we can't take risks like that. So ultimately, they pulled me out and sent me for a scan. And after that, I had to come in here for rehab for a few days as well. So yeah, it was brilliant to be fair. A great result for us. The 2 games were different types of pressure, and the boys dealt with that brilliant. And obviously, a special mention James Forrest for his two games, and the goals they scored were unbelievable. Yeah, it's 2 great results. Of course, before that, we get beaten Israel, unfortunately, as well, due to me. but obviously the boys bounced back and got 2 great results. So yeah, I'm buzzing for everyone, the coaching staff as well, and I think it's what we deserve. We've been working hard every time we go away and looking to get the consistency, and the last few games showed that.
Well, I think the bonus definitely, Darren, is that Alex McLeish will have the likes of Kieran Tierney coming back. Stevie Naismith is on the way back, could be playing before the end of December as well. So there are lots of players that will maybe force themselves in, and some that will be available.
Yeah, definitely. And there's going to be guys that have played in these last 2 games as well that'll be now chapping the door, and who maybe haven't started, i.e. Forrest and Christie. They both came in and they've done brilliant, exceptional. And now he'll be in a position that if they're still doing well at their club level, then they've deserve their chance to go back in. But as you say, there's 9 call-offs or something for the last squad, so he's going to have some right good players to pick from, and again it's back to him to see what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting stuff in the press this morning, Gordon. I just looked at Joe Worrell, who I think was slightly miffed that he didn't get a chance to get a big move away from Nottingham Forest, but then ends up on loan at Rangers, loves it, and reckons Stevie G is frustrated as a player, likes to join in the training, could easily still play. That's, I mean, I think that's an absolute no-brainer when you consider the level he's played at.
Yeah, I wondered about that, because I just felt that he was always a fit guy, and I'm sure he has retired now for a couple of years from playing professional game, but I'm pretty sure he's still fit. And as I say, with his knowledge of the game and the brain he's got, we talked about it earlier on, about it's tougher when you get older, and he's maybe got to a stage where he's not as good as he was, because he was judging himself on a high level, a really high level, playing at a world-class type of a level. Yeah. And he's maybe thinking, I'm not good enough for that, but he's showing, if he's playing in the training, he's probably showing among the players he's among that he can do a job. Yeah,
he could play in the Premier League easily. In Scotland?
Yeah. If he's just going to be sitting there in the middle of the park, instructions, getting the ball, pinging passes, then it shouldn't be too hard for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see you thinking there, he's just going to sit in the middle of the park and ping 40-yard diagonals. I mean, that's what he did his whole career, Ruffy. I'll tell you one thing, I mean, he's the one type of player that Rangers could do with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said about earlier on about a leader.
I think they're missing that type of player.
Somebody on the park that can talk to people. As Dan was saying, you talk and you instruct people and you get the best out of the guys around about you. It's hard to do that from a touchline.
Yeah. Just a couple of things before we finish, lads. Darren, obviously I mentioned to you at the top of the programme about Aberdeen. Derek McInnes has said the players are playing for their places. It's a classic line from a manager. You're going to get one more league game before it's the League Cup final.
Yep. I'm sure he's probably got a team in mind, obviously from the games against them this season and how they've performed. But then there is that wee bit that if you're on form and you're doing well, then you're maybe edge yourself ahead of other players. So he's probably got a team, a formation ready to go. But again, depending on how guys do the last week or this week, then take it for there.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, Gordon and I have this continual argument about if Celtic play to the best of their ability and Aberdeen play to their best of their ability. Gordon doesn't think it's mathematically possible. But if you were a manager, if you're Derek McInnes, what do you say when you're coming up against a side that clearly has better players and you've got to somehow try and pull off a shock?
You're looking to frustrate them, so you'll get men behind the ball, you'll probably play the one up and again look to sort of counter-attack them, but you keep them quiet for as long as possible, but at the same time, when you get it, you need to be brave, you need to get on the ball and make passes, and if they do that, as I spoke about earlier, you could get a penalty, a sending off or something could change the game just like that, and if you stick in and you work hard, then you never know. Is
there a match winner in an Aberdeen shirt of the players that you've watched and you've seen?
Probably the now on current form, Gary Mackay-Stephen. He's the one that's causing problems. You seen the goal against Hibs the other week there. One wee mistake, reads it, takes it, drives for 20 yards and smashes it in the bottom corner. So he's the one now for Aberdeen that you'd be kind of looking at that's going to go and do it for them. Yep,
I don't think we've got too many disagreements there. East Fife, are you enjoying it? I know you're not playing, but you've been on some run. Obviously, Partick Thistle gave you the perfect confidence to go on that run. Yeah,
no, we'd been on a great wee run at the start of the season. We beat Partick in the Cup and it just kind of kicked on. We'd 8 games in a row, and it was a sort of record for 57 years, so it was delighted with that. And then another week there we beat Rafe, so that was the big derby rivals there full time, and it's the first time we beat them in 31 years. So the fans have gone for no particular liking you to just slightly liking you a wee bit better now. We're sitting fine in third position, but there's still a long way to go. But we're doing well, and it's been a good season so far.
What size of squad have you got? Have you got a big enough squad that can great you through
the
winter?
Yeah, we've got about 20. We've got 20 with 18, and with sort of 2 younger guys that we signed up, and they've all come in and done really well. And now, I mean, there was a couple of injuries start of the season, but now the last few weeks we've been having to leave guys out, and it's obviously not ideal. It's the hardest thing to do. You get a squad of maybe 19, one guy suspended, and there's one guy sitting in the stand, so it's not ideal, but that's the things you need to deal with. And I think the good thing for us is that the standards got higher than it was last season, and I think that's down to having a bigger squad and probably better players with a better attitude and want to go and do well and improve and progress. So it's all kind of coming good so far.
Yeah, you'd swap their position in the league, Ruffy, right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they played really well against us. Once they got into the lead, they were very difficult to break down, and they deserved to win on the day, and you can see why they went on that wee run.
Yeah. Only 2 minutes more of the programme to go, Ruffy, before you spontaneously combust. I can't believe I'm wearing on the steam coming out of your jersey now. The last person I'm going to talk about is Didier Drogba, 20 years at the top, and he's decided to call time on his career. I just think he was one of those classic freaks of nature, great in the air, great on the deck, physically strong and super quick as well.
Yeah, outstanding player, and he's probably one of the ones more than most who actually have to look at the physical side, because his game was based on that. He had ability, but his game was based, as you said, on his pace and his strength and being able to be his sharpness, you know what I mean? So these things are going to go, but he's had a great career, and I think that everybody should look back and say, he was a marvellous player to watch.
Yeah, I think the goal against Bayern Munich will live long in the memory. Of course, you had to mark Henrik Larsson in a cup final. Can you imagine trying to mark Didier Drogba?
Yeah, he'd be too strong for me, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great to chat to Darren. We wish him well with East Fife. Thanks to Darren for coming on the programme. Over the next, I think the next 5 or 10 minutes, when you realise the programme's over, we'll be heading to a cryogenic chamber. What this does is it puts someone in at minus 100 degrees centigrade, cools them down, and then allows them to continue. And I think when you have a look at Ruffy's face there, some people clearly think that Darren and Gordon are not looking too well, and Ruffy's been on holiday. But believe me, he's not spending any money whatsoever. He's just in a very hot studio today, next to a heater for some reason. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can get us Monday to Friday live at 6 o'clock, and of course, over and above that, you can give us your thoughts on any of the topics we've been discussing. Thanks to Darren, Gordon and Ruffy, and from myself, thanks for watching. Welcome to PLZ Soccer. Why not join the football family and download the PLZ app? You'll get all the latest Scottish football news and up-to-date news on English and world football. There's also a feature here where you can record yourself talking about your favourite team. If we use the video, you could feature on our football show. For all the latest news in Scottish football, download the PLZ Soccer app in the App Store and in Google Play. Come and join the football family on PLZ Soccer.